Hi, my name's Irorho Mousah. I'm a local GP and I'm also one of the fellows with BNSSG Training Hub. Welcome to Good News BNSSG, where we aim to showcase some of the great initiatives and projects going on in primary care within our area. In this episode, we're focusing on supporting staff in the workplace. We'll firstly hear from Bridgeview Medical Centre on their meetings for salaried GPs.
I had worked at multi-site surgeries before I worked here, and it seemed when I joined Bridgeview that the means of communication between the salaried GP body and the partner GP body was already well established in the SGP meeting forum, which was very different to the previous surgeries that I'd worked, where salaried GPs thought that their issues or concerns or positive stories weren't being heard and weren't being communicated to the right people. So when the opportunity came up to become the rep for the salaried GPs at Bridgeview, I thought it would be a good thing to get involved in and keep that communication channel going in the way that it already was. I also think that it was a good way for me to meet and get to know the salaried GPs at Bridgeview, bearing in mind that we don't all work at the same sites. And it allowed me to really embed into the practice as a relatively new starter. How it works is the meetings happen once a month. And in the couple of weeks running up to each meeting, we have a salaried GP WhatsApp group. And on that group, I ask if people can give me anything that they want raised at the meeting, whether it's a problem or a question or a piece of good news. And I will group those into different categories. So say admin, operations, clinical, things like that. And then send that list of issues to the partner and the manager who will be attending the meeting a couple of days in advance, so that they've got a bit of a run up to almost field and prep for the meeting. And then we'll meet for an hour, and it's usually in person between me and the partner GP representative and one of the managers of the practice. And we will try and resolve as much of the issues in that meeting. If we can't, then the issues and problems will be taken away to people like the board, the clinical reference group, the management group, and then strategies will be put in place to address the issues. And then all of the actions are then sent out to the partner GP group and salaried GP group via email. I would recommend having a forum like this for every practice, regardless of the size. I think it's an easy thing to put in place at a multi-site surgery, but I think even in a single site surgery, because most GPs don't work every day, and sometimes it can be quite an isolated experience coming in and working and then leaving, and there's maybe not necessarily the opportunity to raise any issues or concerns that you have. So I think it's something that actually doesn't take very much time. It's an hour out of 3 people's working day once a month, with maybe, half an hour of prep in advance and then a little bit of time afterwards to address any issues. But I think very much short-term pain, long-term gain, because the results of the meetings, I think, are much more beneficial than any sort of potentially, loss of clinical hours or loss of managerial time. So I think the benefits definitely outweigh any sort of effort that needs to be put in to set it up. And once it is up and running, it's a really easy system to just keep going because it just repeats itself once a month.
That sounds like an effective way to connect with staff. Do let us know if you'd like to share how your practice manages multi-site working and staff wellbeing. Next, we'll hear from our legacy nurses about the New to Practice scheme.
Yeah, so I think what we wanted to just talk about, we just wanted to just go through the various terms. So just that, primary care is the first point of contact within the healthcare system, and it just sort of encompasses general practice, community pharmacies, dental services, and optometry as well. And general practice is different, is sort of part of primary care. So the New to Practice program is a 6-month training program where they get training every 2 weeks on a range of different things for sort of general practice nursing. You start off with sort of a general introduction and the way the system works and how it all connects.
So our New to Practice program's now been running for about a year, which is great and really set up just to support people that are coming from other areas or newly qualified.
I think traditionally in primary care, we've always been discouraged as nurses to come into primary care as newly qualified nurses. You know, a lot of people in the hospitals and some of the nurses we've had on the programme said I was really discouraged, and they all said I should have a couple of years of general experience first before coming in. You don't have to. It's all very different. So I think we really wanted to be able to bridge that gap between coming out of secondary care or being newly qualified.
The combination of the teaching sessions and CPD time and the knowledge and experience of Jenny and Helen and the other nurses just help to see how to, overcome certain hurdles or how to apply all this knowledge in real life, in everyday practice. And it's been amazing.
I blagged getting into the primary care. I think I sort of sold myself on transferable skills and said, I do diabetes, I do all these different things, and then got to primary care and thought, oh my goodness, this is completely different. Landed in a general practice that was very small with one other nurse, not a lot of support, and I was left. And it was 6 months of absolute, well, quite a difficult time really, with not a lot of support, but people expecting you as the nurse to know what you're doing, and not appreciating that it was very different moving from secondary care or community into primary care. So I think part of my motivation for the role that I'm doing now was that I just wouldn't want anybody to go through that.
We've got 55 on the programme now. We're into our 3rd cohort. So every cohort that we've had is last 6 months. So the nurses get 2 years funding from NHS England for the course. We've done a 6-month training program with them, and then we follow them on every sort of 3 months after that with reviews and things that we do with them, and then we give them one-to-one support if they need it.
We worked end of last year just for the preceptorship interim quality mark, which again is a national award. We did quite a bit of work for that. So it was writing policies and booklets and all, that sort of stuff. All got looked at by NHS England, and we were awarded that just before Christmas. So that was a really good, award to get, just to recognise the work that we've done. It's been invaluable. We've had 55 nurses through in the last year, which it's exceeded what we thought we would get, and it's definitely wanted. People were requesting it, really as a program.
I can't believe people didn't have this before, because I wouldn't have been able to make it without this program.
It's clear this scheme has been hugely beneficial to all involved. If you are looking for support around work, we've included some NHS links in the description bar below. That's all for today. I hope these episodes have given you inspiration or just made you see that great things are happening in BNSSG. If you'd like to share your good news with us, check out the description box for details or scan the QR code here. Thank you so much for watching.